The questions we answer them live right here on Facebook. Got a user submitted question here in our scale coaching group around service autopilot. Does anyone do snow removal for SA work? Looking to see a rate matrix set up for square footage for lots and sidewalks to compare what I've set up in the system. Feeling a little discouraged this year, and I'm being told I'm way too high in price. Any help or guidance appreciated? Well, Sarah, good news is after 25, 26 years in the snow removal industry, writing for Lawn and Landscape magazine, for Callahan's Corner for snow removal. We have figured this out for you. So what I'm going to do is open up, give you a basic example of how we do this. And no matter your software, this is how we build up the framework of the estimating matrices. So I'm going to pop the screen open here. First thing we're going to do, Sarah, before to answer your question, is we're going to actually go into the Simple Growth Blueprint and actually go in and set up the snow removal based on your revenue hour, your break even, and your minimum amount to show up if you have one. I'm assuming you do based on the screenshot you provided in the scale group here. So it looks like there is a minimum for labor, about $20 on the sidewalk removal, and on the commercial plowing, looks like she's got a $50 minimum. So what I'm going to do is build this out with some somewhat fictitious numbers, but built around Sarah's question. So the first thing we did in the blueprint here, just like we do in our CRM setups or deep dives, we set a revenue man hour goal of 175 in this instance, and their break even per man hour is $93.50. So that's what we cost every time we go out to do a snow removal job. Now, no matter the service, this is how we're going to break it up for setting up a production rate based estimating system in your software. So I'm going to go to Sarah's question here off the bat, right down to this snow removal. I'm judging hers was a commercial to 1 to 4 inch. So I'm assuming this is a per push per inch instance. So this is how we would actually go in and dial this out. Most common is a 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, and then 8 or above, or 9 or above, or even 10 or above is an hourly rate. So I'm going to walk through this process here of what it looks like for Sarah's question. So the first thing I'm asking Sarah is, what is your base to show up? She says in her market, based on what she's given us here on the other screen on my phone from Facebook, is it looks like her base price is $50. So we would pump that in there. And I know based on an industry average, approximately 0 to 2 inches is going to be right around 38 to 40,000 square feet of commercial plowing for a parking lot. That's what Sarah's question was. So we'd go in and say, okay, Sarah, based on your $50 minimum, what is the biggest area you cover? And it looks like she threw in there $10,000 was her minimum or maximum area she'd cover for plowing. Now, obviously, watching this, each market's different. We'd have to dig in with Sarah to see her financials. These numbers I put up for hour per charge and expense are based on an industry ballpark that's in the area. So, and this would be going out and plowing with a V plow on average. So, the idea is, in Sarah's example, I'm going to leave it where it is, but basically for the first 10,000 square feet, Sarah would be charging $50. It should take about 0.26 man hours. So that is going to be equals 0.26 times 60. It's about 15 and a half minutes ballpark for that driver. So production wise, industry average, on average, I think that would be the ballpark. Based on these costs, it would cost her $24.61. So she'd have a profit of $25.39 per push and a profit percentage of 50%. Each additional 1,000 here on the bottom, over 10,000 every 1,000 square feet, based on the production rate of a V plow. Obviously, you need to figure out your own production rates, but this would be a ballpark average for a 1 to 2 inch push with a V plow. She would have to charge, based at 150 an hour, $3.95 per 1,000. It would take 0.26, about a minute and a half to 3 minutes, and it would cost her $2.46. And her profit margin on every overage would be 37% net, and $1.49 per 1,000. As we go down, without giving all the secrets out, this production rate is going to drop probably about 20 to 25% ballpark. We know the exact number based on industry averages and numbers from Callahan's Lawn Care, but we go in if we were at about 38 to 40,000 per 1,000 production rate or an hour, so 38,000 to 40,000 square feet hour production rate. This is going to drop about 20 to 25%. So what we've done is driven formulas in here based on that and how much longer it's going to take. Based on Sarah's hourly rate projected here, we've built a formula to take the budgeted time or a percentage that we've hidden here, increase and bump that up. So what we've done is broken down 1 to 2 inches, 2 to 4, and then 4 to 5. But notice your base price is every 10,000. The incremental price for each inch range above now has gone up. And we've preserved our profit margin about 50% on top and 37 on the bottom as you drive down. So this is what we do in our SA setups or deep dives or CRM setups. But this is how we would tackle it. And we've taken this all the way out with industry productions, all the way up to a foot of snow. And then after that would be hourly. So Sarah, that's how I would tackle that. We'd grab an average. If you needed to sit down with us on the actual piece of equipment, whether it's a V plow, a wide out, skid steer with an 8-foot pusher, box plow on loader up to 18 feet. Those are industry averages. We've got all the way up to about 200 different services, not just snow, but all different lawn and land care services. So I'm going to show you how to build this out in SA here in a minute. But next part of her question was going in and figuring out the parking lot salting and sidewalk removal. So parking lot salting, once again, we're going to go in and figure out how many square feet can we handle in a minute. Because the production rate on a V-box salter, a 2 or 3 yard salter, has done that. So at her rate here, she wants to be at 175 an hour for the parking lot salting. It's costing her $93.50 fictitiously. We've gone in and figured at a cost of $95 a ton, how much coverage, and what's the cost per thousand. So in Sarah's fictitious instance here, we'd have $1.09 of material cost for the rock salt. So we're going to build that in the system here. So $93.50 per man hour break even, and we've got our cost per thousand at $1.09. So we drive that all together. If all comes to play, Sarah is looking at $65 minimum for the first 10,000. Obviously, these numbers are fictitious. You want to make sure that they're fitting your market and profit margins, but I want to show the methodology, but not really give away pricing for different areas of the country because that's a dangerous thing to do. So make sure you build these on your prices per charge per man hour, expense per hour, equipment costs, things like that. But in this example here, she'd be running about $46.30 profit on the first 10,000 square feet for rock salt and a 71% net margin. Every 1,000 over the first 10,000, she'd be charging $4.25 labor, overhead, and materials. Should take 0.008 man hours, and it would cost her $1.87 in overhead and product. We're going to do the same exact thing for her shoveling here. Instead of going in at 125 or 175, she'd be looking at $95 an hour revenue she wants to generate and $65. Now, I would break this down here in her example. Let me pull up my phone. She was looking at every 1,000 square feet, which is fine, but I would recommend probably pulling that out to every 1,300 or 1,500. We find it a little bit easier, more consistent when we base it on the bag or ice melt, the calcium chloride, sodium chloride mix there, square foot wise. So what we've done once again is built out a production rate based on a shoveler for every 1,500 square feet based on her hourly range, and a laborer with snowblower, 95 and 65 as well. And we've built that consistent margin in there. So once we have this out and we're good with our profit margins for our snow removal, first thing we're going to do is go into Service Autopilot and go into something we call the gear icon. And we're going to build out a production rate based estimating system for a per push per inch snowplow contract, or even per push would work in the same exact manner, which actually be a little bit simpler. So we're going to go into custom fields here and dial into the gear icon here. So I'm going to go in and, for our example, make our custom field start with a 33 so I can find them. But this is going to be our parking lot square footage, and this is going to be to the customer and the number, so we can do a mathematical equation. And we're going to save and new, and we're going to go in and do sidewalk square footage. So Sarah's going to be capturing and working on her parking lots, plowing and salting, as well as her sidewalk clearing and eventually ice melt on there. So once we've got those in there, we can now go into the gear icon, and we're going to go into services and create some services. I'm not going to make all of them up to 12 inches, but I'm going to go in and give you a quick ballpark idea how we do this. So once again, I'm going to add a 33 in front of the services so I can find them quick here on Facebook Live. And this is going to be our parking lot salting. So we're going to go in and copy that over. Once again, we're building this out for Sarah here with industry production rates based on her revenue per man hour, break even per man hour, and her product costs. Once again, we're going to want to put this show in snow dispatch so we can actually dispatch these. And we've got an income account and our estimate description. So we're going to go into rate matrix, quantity great times visits, and our custom field of parking lot square footage. Now we're going to go back to the simple growth blueprint. 1 to 10,000 is 65. We're just going to transfer these over. After doing several hundred of these, this is exactly how we break this out. 0.08, and it's costing $18.70 with the rock salt. And every 1,000 over our first 10,000, Sarah is going to be charging on this one $4.25 and 0.088. If you're joining us here, obviously some of these numbers are a little fictitious. We need to base them on your numbers and your production rates, but this is the methodology of how we would build this out in a production rate based estimating system in Service Autopilot, as well as Simple Estimate. Good news is if you're using Simple Estimate for on-demand estimates from Simple Growth, we have concierge service. We actually do this for you right now, need virtually, and help you set this up. All right, and we've gone in and hit save and new. So we've got our parking lot salting taken care of. We're going to go in and do our labor with the shovel, just based on Sarah's question. Then we're going to get into our per push per inch contract to tackle Sarah's second question. Sarah, hopefully this is helpful, because this is how you're going to actually build this out on your own. If you need some help, Simple Growth, or I believe you're in the Scale Plus coaching where you get one-on-one coaching, your coach can actually help you work through some of this as well, included in your monthly one-on-one consulting, where we help businesses scale to $1 million. And then with our masterminds group, we help them scale to 8 figures. But once again, we've got the same exact thing going on here. And I believe that is our sidewalk square footage. And we're going from our blueprint where we've actually determined our profit margin. We're just copying these over here. 1 to 15,000 is $19. Obviously, these prices are a little bit low. This is a fictitious example. This is probably going to be at least 35 or 40 bucks, depending where you're at in the country. But this is a methodology if you're going to do it. If you need some help, feel free to hit us up at sgscall.com, where we can actually work with you knee to knee and get this built out the way you need it. And then every 1,500 square feet over is another $19.2 and $13 cost. I'm going to save and new. Now we're going to get into the per push per inch for plowing. So this is where it gets a little tricky, folks. Once again, this is literally using industry production rates. We traditionally do this. Don't go by these numbers because they're not based on your revenue hour, your break even, or your equipment production rate with your guys or girls and piece of equipment. So we would not want to copy this verbatim. I'm just giving you the methodology. We're going to need a code in here. We're going to show in snow dispatch per unit. Service income, we have our estimate description and our rate matrix. So once again, we used an industry production rate for a V plow in this example, approximately 38 to 40,000 square feet. It's going to be based on the parking lot square footage, and every 1 to 10,000 in the example that Sarah gave us, she said she was charging 50 bucks. If her revenue per man hour was 150 and break even was 93.50, this is how it would play out. So 0.26 man hours and 24.61 is what it took to actually get this accomplished. And then we're going to be doing an overage of every 1,000 square feet over 10,000. Now, full transparency, we can go out to an acre, bigger properties, and do a price break model all the way up to an acre. So every 1,000 over 10,000, Sarah would be charging $3.95 and 0.026. And it would be costing her, when she charges $3.95, her expense would be $2.46. That's her net profit. All right. So Sarah did not give us anything outside of 1 to 4, but I'm going to go out just for this example and build it out all the way up to a 9-inch per push per inch, just so we have it. Going back into SA, I'm putting the 33 in front just so I can find it later because we're going to have to do a little magic here and build out a couple things once we get in there. So once again, you want to base this on your revenue per man hour and your equipment. We're basing this on industry averages and some of the stuff we did at Callahan's Lawn Care here. We're working in writing the articles for Callahan's Corner in Lawn and Landscape magazine. So from 1 to 10,000 now at a 2 to 4 inch trigger, Sarah would be charging $52.63 and 0.28 man hours. And would be costing her $25.90 in this example. And every 1,000 over 10,000 is going to be another $416 and 0.028. And it would be costing Sarah in this example $259 in total cost. All right, we're going to do one more here. And then we're actually going to pull this all together for a per push per inch contract. Now, actually, what I'm going to do is actually make this our last option. I'm going to make this hourly. So over 6 inches hourly. Obviously, you'd probably take this up to 10 to 12 inches, but I want to give you the idea of the full package, how you put this together in Service Autopilot. Once again, if you're using Simple Estimate for live on-demand estimating, we have a concierge service. So to do this, we need to be with you. Right now, as you're watching this, there is no additional cost for the concierge service. Usually runs about $500. And I'm going to say it's $175. Per machine hour. All right, and save. So what we've got now is our final step. Is once we have this, we've done our parking lot salting, we've done our plowing per push per inch, and we've also done our sidewalk or parking lot. We've done the parking lot salting with material. We've done our sidewalk shoveling, and then we've done it per push per inch. That's a mouthful for first thing in the morning here. We're going to go into master packages now and build out the way we actually present this. So this is how we're going to present this. We are not scheduling from the master package. But we have our Facebook Live snow example for Sarah. She is a part of our scale group. So depending on what level she's at, Sarah, you can definitely work with one of our coaches and have them work with you on this. All right, so I'm going to go back to my example here, and I'm going to go back up to my plowing at 1 to 9 inches, and I'm setting up my first service. And now I have my plowing from 2 to 4 inches. And I have my over 6 inches hourly. Obviously, there'd be another gap in here, but I'm just going in and giving you an example what this would look like. So we would have a 4 to 6, and then every 6 inches over that would be hourly. Over 6 inches. So I'm going to give you the basics how to set this up. Then we're going to set up a date range here. And our end. So we're setting up a master package to be able to display the price per inch per push here. And we're going to save the changes. So last part is we're going to bring this all together in the gear icon here, and we're going to build out a job estimate template and tie it into our existing estimate document. So estimate email, estimate document, acceptance email. We're going to tie those all together for you. In this test account, there's a few of these. Let me see if I can find our snow removal. This may be the one we're looking for. Let's see what we got. Actually, so these are, never mind. So we're going to add a template. We'll build one right now, right from the beginning here. So we're going to call this our 33 dot Facebook Live snow example per push per inch. So Sarah, last thing we're going to do is go in and we're going to add in our sidewalk shoveling. We're going to add in our parking lot salting. And then we're going to add in our master package to display per push per inch right here. And obviously this example here, this guy ended up out of place. So we're going to go in and actually preview it. That doesn't make sense. So what we're going to do is go in and actually adjust that. So let's go in and delete that package. See where it got shifted, and we'll pull that back in. Let's go to Facebook again. And this is the final part, but this is something when you're building them yourself. Obviously, you've done hundreds of these. These things can happen. So you want to make sure that you're going in and previewing this stuff before you release it to your team. I got a pretty good idea of what happened here. Yeah, so the dates are a little screwed up here. So this should be 10. Let's see if that did it. If not, we may have to manually remove them over. Yep. All right. Perfect. So we got 1 to 2, 2 to 4, and then we'd have 4 to 6, and then over 6. So just so you can see how it plays out, we'd build that whole thing. So add an item now. Once we've got that package, we're going to add in Facebook Live snow example. And there we go. That is a per push per inch contract. We're going to go into both and tie that into our snow document. And that may be one that'll work. And save and close. So what we're going to do now is go in and pretend that we have a commercial client or lead that's coming in for snow removal. So I'm going to call this Facebook Live. So first name, last name. And this is going to be our Facebook Live Inc. This will be our company, our business name in here. And we're going to put this in here as they call. And we're going to get their email address and their phone number. Under details, commercial or residential, and sales type. How'd you hear about us? And I'm going to say it was from Everydoor Direct Mailing. And we're going to hit save. So once we have that in there, it is time to go in and actually create this estimate. Now, the good news is you don't even have to leave your desk with the way we've set this up. So, Sarah, if you don't have Maps Pro, recommend you get it. Property measurements, we're going to go in and measure this property. So we're going to hit satellite. We're going to go in and actually measure the property here. So this is for our snow removal quote. And this is how easy this is. So I don't know about anybody else watching this, but when a commercial client calls and you're able to give a live quote in minutes here, I'm going to go in and type in gross plow. And then I'm going to go in and grab the building and the sidewalks and remove them. But as I'm doing this, I'm asking the folks, hey, have you ever hired a professional snow removal company before? How soon do you need the bid? What are the things you're looking for? What are the things that have happened in the past that you're looking for? You're going to qualify and start hitting those pain points. So this is our negative area. Now this little plus area I'm going to hit once, and now we've taken the 5,400 or 54,000 square feet, subtracted the 16,000 approximately for the area here, and subtracted that from the main area. So now I can go in and save that for my parking lot square footage. And then what I can do is add the sidewalks, because that was Sarah's next question. How do we go in and do that? So I'm going to go in and grab the sidewalk area. Now, full transparency, this is a parking lot or a commercial property that we actually serviced at Callahan's Lawn Care in the past before we actually sold. So I've got a pretty good idea where this is at, but you can go in, and I'll show you in a second, and shift the satellite imagery to get a good idea. So what we've got here is exactly what we'd be looking at. And I will tell you, those numbers are pretty much dead nuts. Now, if you wanted to swing that around and take a look at it, that's pretty much what we're covering. We may move this in a little bit, but that's pretty darn close. So once we have that, I'm going to go in and move these guys here to a null value, 0 value, and I'm going to save my sidewalk square footage. And hopefully I grabbed the right sidewalk here in this test account. You'd only have one, hopefully, in your account. Now we're going to go in and actually create that estimate. So feel free to hit us up at sgscall.com if you're looking to get some help around any estimating, especially your snow removal estimates. But we're going to go in and do a salting, sidewalk clearing, and a per push per inch contract. So we're going to go in and grab our Facebook Live snow example. And with any luck, I grabbed the right square footages. So I did not on the area here, but I can physically type that in. So we've got, let's see here, plus minus 0. Our square footage is about 37,499. So this would have automatically came in here. But for time of Facebook here, I'm going to put that in there. And this would automatically come in if I select the right custom field. But being a test account, there's more than a few of these in here. So what we've got is our price for $57, 0.6 man hours, and a cost of $39. So 31% margin for the shoveling. Parking lot salting is $184, 0.3 man hours, and 71 overhead break even. And as we came in here, our plowing for the first inch is $160 a push, 0.98 man hours, which is an hour, and costs us $93.49. I will tell you that is pretty darn accurate based on that property there, based on the industry average I used. And 2 to 4 inches was $169, and then we'd have from 4 to 6, and then over 6 inches we did as an hourly. So what you're going to see in here is over 6 inches is $175, $175 per machine hour. So if we wanted to make it make sense in this example, we'd say anything over 4. So we're going to hit apply, and we're going to hit save. Now we've got a live per push per inch estimate. We're going to go in and hit email. Once I remember to check these check boxes, hit quote, and email these out. And now I'm going to send out this email to our potential client. We've got our previewed document right here, all pre-template ready to go. We're going to hit send, and I'm going to hop on the other screen and grab my email and show you what this looks like. But that's how we would make a per push per inch contract in Service Autopilot, or the foundational pieces of how we'd actually build that out in the background with you for simple estimate. So let's just make sure we're working here. And once that sends, we should have an email momentarily in my email inbox. Now, if you're getting used to this, you can hit preview, and this will show you what it looks like. But I'm going to go in and just actually drive this into my personal email here, so you can actually see what this looks like when you do it. So we've got a pre-templated email we've sent to our lead. We have literally built a per push per inch contract, salting with material, sidewalk clearing, and did an on-demand estimate all in about 12 to 15 minutes here, folks. So that's how easy it can be if you follow the steps. So as we open this up, we've got our estimate, and we've got, we probably add some grids in here, but we've got our labor with shoveling. It's $57 per visit, parking lot salting at $84. And now we have a Facebook Live, which we obviously written in here, per push per inch contract. 1 to 9 is $160, 2 to 4 is $169.11, and over 4 inches is $175 per machine hour. Client can go in and accept these. Notice they have to accept the whole per inch per contract, and we hit sign. They sign with their name, type their name in, hit save, and hit accept proposal. And that is going to notify the business owner and the client that we'll be getting out to reach them up. But that's how we set it up for a live version of per push per inch contract with overages hourly. How would you set up the salting with a minimum with product included and then the labor? So Sarah, I don't think your numbers are too far off. If anything, I'd love to know what your hourly rate break even is. I think that your price is actually maybe a little bit on the lower side. So once again, if you're watching this in its entirety, folks, don't base your pricing on it. We need to go in and dig into an industry production rate or numbers you have based on your plow, whether it's a straight blade, V plow, wide out, skid steer with a box, backhoe with a box, or a loader with a box. Those production rates as well, based on the shoveling or snow blower and additional labor costs and things that are going to go in there. Some things you need to look at based on your equipment overhead setup. So Callahan's Corner US questions, we answer them live right here in Facebook. We just built a live per push per inch contract in Facebook and for your service autopilot. And if you're using Simple Estimate, remember, we'll build this need to need with you right now at no extra cost for our concierge service. So SGS call if you want to learn more about how to do this inside Service Autopilot, or if you'd like this done an on-demand estimating tool live on your website, sgecall.com, for a free 30-minute call to see if it's a good fit for you.